Hey, welcome to the Blueprints to Buildings podcast. I'm your host, Glen Palmer, and in the show where I interview the movers and shakers in the world of property development and real estate. So, this show is supported by something few developers have been quietly using to get their projects funded and sold faster without touching traditional 3D models. It's early, it's clever, and it's changing the way people see off plan property. I'll leave it there, but if you're curious, message me on LinkedIn at Glen Palmer Secure or check out the show notes below. So, on today's show, I have an absolute pleasure of interviewing Marc Cottrell. He's a seasoned luxury real estate advisor with over 2 decades of experience, representing some of the most prestigious properties across London, the Southwest, and beyond. Known for his calm authority, discretion, and people first approach, Marc has guided high net worth clients from sport, entertainment, and business through complex transactions with grace and precision. Marc, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. And shall we dive in?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So, Marc, one of the questions I always ask all of my sort of guests is if time travel became a reality and you had the chance to go back in time to when you first started your career, what sort of advice would you give the person that you are now? What would you tell your younger self?
Great question. I think get a coach.
Yeah,
Get a coach as soon as possible, as soon as you can afford it. Get yourself a coach. If you want to be, the best in your field, or you want to do the best that you can possibly do, then you need to have somebody who can have an overview of your business and also help you get from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. Absolutely.
oh, yeah. That's one of the first things that I did when I first went into my security side of things is find myself a mentor. You know, someone who has been there, done that, has sort of gone through the trials and errors so that you can learn from sort of their mistakes and it makes it a lot easier. So that's a really good point. So yeah, I think
Absolutely. I think it's really important to find or surround yourself with people that have either done what you're looking to do or have worked in fields where you want to be working or aspire to sort of be. And they through asking great questions, they can help you self-identify what you need to be doing in order to, they're not telling you what to do, but they're helping you understand where you need to be able to get where you want to go.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you started your career in the hospitality before moving into the luxury real estate. Now, both industries, this is where service defines success, yeah? So how did that background shape your approach to the client relationships and the negotiation in today's really ultra competitive property market?
I think from the hospitality industry, I was very fortunate to grow up in an area that is very, a lot of people go there and they want to stay and they have their holidays, etc. there. So a lot of the industry there is very much surrounded in the hospitality industry. And I worked with a small group of hotels, but they're probably one of the best small groups in the country. Uh,
Mm.
and I sort of started out started in a managerial position, um, and then grew into sort of a manager position. So I sort of managed to work through I guess what it is involved in looking after customers at a high level. So delivering service standards that people who have got say money, but they go and they've spent money to go and enjoy an experience, and they want to
Yeah.
be confident that they're going to get what they pay for. Um, so yeah, it was a really good base to sort of to help me get where I am today, I suppose, in terms
Yeah.
of looking after people, that sort of white glove service that you can provide to looking after um say every whim, but you certainly want to make the experience as enjoyable as it can be, even though
Yeah.
sometimes in all industries it can be quite difficult, can't it?
Yeah.
Particularly,
I
uh,
mean, I remember buying the house that I'm in now, and the stress of going from not only selling your old house to get into this house, then all the bits and pieces that came with it. Yeah, I remember it being extremely, extremely stressful, and I really do not like moving. It's one of the, once packing up on boxes and this, that, and the other, and then you've got to think about all of that, and then all of the legal side of things. So yeah, I can see why it can make it, you want to make it as easy and as painless as possible because the moving part is stressful enough.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think if you look at the UK, just as a sort of the UK market, moving in the UK is a very time-consuming, laborsome sort of process. It's probably one of the slowest processes in the whole industry.
yeah, yeah,
From agreeing a sale to actually completing it can take months.
yeah,
Um, and if you match that together with if you're moving area, in even within the UK, it's hard enough. But then if you're looking outside of the UK, if you're relocation for into a new country, then you're sort of ramping up that stress, aren't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, so yeah,
definitely.
so I think when you're working with somebody who can help you through that process, I think estate agents in the UK are seen as just people that put a house on portals and then it goes under offer and then that's it. Their job is done. But that's actually when it starts, is that
Mm,
seeing it through to completion is when you really earn your money. And that's where people can make the difference as to whether or not
yeah,
house completes or doesn't complete. So
yeah. So you've represented properties across continents. So what shifts are you seeing and how global buyers approach the UK real estate market, and particularly those, post-pandemic and amid, you've got changing taxes and visa landscapes, that sort of thing.
I think taxes, visas, etc., they change all the time in obviously different countries, and there's always competing factors in countries that want to attract the sort of right kind of people that they see that's going to help them grow their countries and their
Yeah.
economies. So we've seen a prime example with Dubai is obviously a very popular market at the moment with Brits in particular,
Mm,
um, because of the tax benefits and the cost, the cost of living is quite expensive out there. People don't necessarily know that, but then the quality of life that you can have and the safety and everything is obviously far greater than the UK. Um, I think emerging markets like we've just started working with a partner down in Montenegro, and there's a
mhm.
huge interest now growing in Montenegro as an emerging market. And so key investors will look at those sort of key drivers like the visa and tax regimes, etc., and the security of what their assets going to be. So, I mean, the one thing about the UK, which is works in our favor, is it's very secure for holding property. So,
Yeah,
it's not like in some markets you can lose a huge amount of the value in your property overnight. Um, Whereas in the UK, it doesn't tend to drop. I mean, even in the sort of when the GFC was happening, our market value for properties didn't drop significantly, and then it soon recovered within a couple of years. So
yeah,
it's not too much of a problem in the UK, but I think nowadays we're starting to see more of the squeezed middle. So it's not just the ultra high net worths
yeah,
that are looking at different markets or those that can move quite quickly. We're also seeing a lot of people that are not necessarily millionaires with millions in the bank, but the squeezed middle is the prime sort of market now that you're seeing people moving and considering what their options are.
yeah,
So um, that'll be interesting to see, particularly with the budget coming up in a few weeks. That you
yeah,
know, yeah, most people that I speak to nowadays in the UK are considering their options.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's be interesting to see what happens over the next sort of 3 years. So,
Yeah, it certainly will. It certainly will. So you work with high profile clients. Now they value privacy, yet success in the modern real estate often relies on visibility. So how do you actually strike that balance between protecting the confidentiality and leveraging digital storytelling to market premium listings?
um, a lot of the real sort of premium stuff doesn't ever go out there. You're not going to see it.
Yeah,
And I think when it comes to protecting privacy, obviously there's a lot of NDAs and that sort of thing that you have to follow. And trust is a big thing, not
mm,
just the clients trusting you, but you have to trust the other partners that you're working with, because it's invariably there are more you're dealing with a management team, or you might be dealing with multiple agents that are
yeah,
dealing representing their clients, you're representing yours. So it's very much the trust element of things, and you cannot. Well, I guess when you betray that trust just once, then it's gone, and
it's
trying to
gone.
get that, but you just cannot. That's your biggest
Yeah.
currency, isn't it? So
Yeah. Well, reputation is a huge thing, especially with high net worth individuals, Um, one wrong move and it has a ripple effect, and it can have a ripple effect throughout the industry. So yeah,
from a security point of view that it can have a devastating impact.
yeah,
So
definitely, yeah. So the luxury market depends on that sort of emotional connection and that presentation. So if technology could help clients experience the property before stepping a foot inside, to feel the light, to see the layout, to enjoy the lifestyle, how do you see immersive 3D marketing influencing how high net worth buyers make decisions? And would tools like that add value to the kind of bespoke campaigns like you already run?
yeah, I mean, it's not a new technology for our industry. Particularly during the pandemic, there was a property just down the road from where I live that was sold, £4.5 million sight unseen,
Wow.
and that was done through, I think it's WhatsApp, or you know you,
Yeah.
when I'm working with a buyer, generally they I will take a brief. We will go out there and source, the potential properties for them, before they even consider it. Quite often, we'll have done a video tour before they come and view shortlisted properties. So
Mhm.
much of it is done either through Zoom, through WhatsApp. WhatsApp's obviously quite a big player now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, probably more Zoom and WhatsApp are the key things. Immersive tours, they're great for developments. So if you've got a large scale development and you're looking to sell out luxury units, then yeah, for those immersive tours are great. But you cannot beat getting out and viewing them in person.
Yeah.
Replace that, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel that if you're looking, certainly for like Dubai, you're a UK investor, you don't want to jump on a plane and you don't want to go over to Dubai to have a look at it. Visual tours like that, I see the benefit. I really do. But yeah, the personal touch, and I think that is with meetings as well, to be honest. Nowadays everything is on Zoom, everything is on Teams or whatever that may be. We hold meetings all the time, but
Yeah.
there's that human connection that I still like to go. I'll still like to go and have a sit down, have a conversation face to face with somebody because it's more personal. So yeah, there's pros and cons, isn't there?
Absolutely. And um, not just, I mean, you can pick up on body language, that sort of thing as well. When you're dealing in a sales environment, then yeah, that can be a
Yeah,
key factor as well. And like if you're dealing with the Chinese, for example, a lot of they prefer the personal approach
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than doing things on Zoom. So yeah, it's yeah, there's some real massive benefits to having online meetings like this, but then you can't beat having a face to face, sort of getting belly
Yeah.
to belly with somebody and getting to know them and understanding them in a lot better than what you can do over the internet.
Yeah. And in the so moving on from that, in the age of quick transactions and data-driven deals, you still emphasize long-term relationships and personal integrity. So how do you build and maintain trust when clients are now starting to be increasingly remote and international and pressed for time? So how do you manage that?
I think the from a relationship point of view, it's consistency, and just be having building that sort of that the reputation of just being there when somebody needs some advice, and you don't constantly batter them with like lots and lots of fluff, as they say nowadays. But
Yeah.
it's cutting through all of that noise and delivering value and in the field that you work in. So
Yeah.
you're like we it's just a case of if somebody who's interested in real estate and they want to know key markets that are good opportunities to invest in, then
Yeah.
you're the front of mind that they will come to. So there's the UK estate agency, for example. A lot of agents will think that they're just simply sending out their latest listings is the way to keep the sellers or their buyers updated. But
Yeah.
that's just, sending out your listings, isn't it? And most people aren't interested in that. But if you went out with and some insight into the local market as to what's going on and where you should be looking and, the process of buying, etc., that's where you can really add value on top of
Yeah.
providing with the opportunities that you've got in front of you. So yeah, I think you just got to differentiate yourself by delivering value.
Yeah, I think that well, I think that in any business, and not just real estate, it could be absolutely anything. You've got to give value, and you've got to provide value.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and I say it all the time, people buy from people. They don't buy from businesses, and if they know, like, and trust you because you give a load of content and a load of value, it makes it so much easier. And it's the same with relationships, I think. You've got to build that relationship with your potential client or client. And yeah, for me, that's super, super important.
I
I'm
think,
sure it is for you.
yeah. One of my mentors coined the phrase having commission breath. So the only time you ever hear from your agent is when they're trying to sell you something. They've just all you've got is this commission breath coming at you. It's like,
Yeah, I like that.
so you know,
I
so
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's all we've got for today's show. A massive thanks to my guest Mark for joining me on the show. Absolute pleasure having you here, learning from your experience, having your insights, and of course, thank you to the listeners as well. Before we sign off, Mark, if someone wanted to know more about you or the work that you do at Mobley, for example, how can they get in contact with you?
you can WhatsApp me via my WhatsApp number is 07989 050 429, or you can drop me an email at mark, which is MARC, at markcottrell.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mark. That wraps up today's episode. And if you're still wondering about that prop tech thing I mentioned at the start, good. You should be. Drop me a message and I'll show you what early adopters are up to. Thanks for tuning in to Blueprints to Buildings. I'm your host, Glen Palmer. I've been speaking with Marc Cottrell, and I'll see you on the next episode.